Hey there, and welcome to Business Over Cocktails. I'm Lauren Najar, your host and hype woman, bringing you real talk about entrepreneurship. This is the podcast where we dive into the bold whys, the messy middles, and the game-changing aha moments that lead to success. You'll hear unfiltered stories from entrepreneurs, plus bite-sized solo episodes inside the Business Chaser series, where we cut through the noise and get straight to what actually drives sales, visibility, and growth. So whether you're here to get fired up or finally feel seen in your business journey, pull up a seat, pour your favorite drink, and let's have a real conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Business Over Cocktails. I love today's guest because I always credit this person as being like my catalyst to like meeting people in person because I was always hiding behind my desk. And I never really wanted to go out in Northwest Indiana to meet people. So I credit this person for getting me out of my shell. I have Brittany Good here today. And while I feel like I know Brittany, I don't know all about you. And so this is really like the conversation where I get to find out more, all the interesting things. So Brittany is your resident social media hype girl.
Yeah.
She is the CEO and owner of Socially Good. And you recently expanded your business by hiring a team member, which now you're just going to take over global domination, all the things. So thank you for being on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And yes, I am the owner and CEO of Socially Good. And we do all things from content creation to full social media management. And we are your go-to to hype you up and get your social media storefront up and running.
Yeah. And we'll dive into so much more about social media as well. And if you're not familiar with the podcast, we do have our Business Chaser episodes that will air on Fridays. Brittany will be back with us to talk all about content, social media, all the things. So make sure you tune in later this week. But let's start at the beginning. So what's the story behind Socially Good?
Like why I started or how I got started?
Yeah, where did it all start? Why did you decide to start this business?
Okay. So back in 2019, so a little bit prior to COVID happening, I started reading the book called The Last 90 Days by Rachel Hollis. This sounds so cliche when I say it out loud, but literally I was reading this book and I was like, oh, I'm going to document this journey because she was sending emails and kind of just like guiding us through this challenge. So I used Instagram as my platform to document this journey. And I started posting on there and I met some people along the way who were also doing the last 90 days challenge as well. And I quickly realized how powerful of a tool social media is and the connections that you can make as well from social media can be so not only powerful, but very inspiring. And the connections that you can make are huge, not only in the business world, but I've met some amazing friends like you along the way. So it's just a really good tool to have. And if you're a business, it's definitely a must-have nowadays. But anyways, so I started documenting this journey. I met some really cool people, and shortly after I was doing that, because I was starting to get into like the content creation side of things, a local nutrition shop, they were like, hey, can you manage our social media for us? So I started managing that, doing their content creation. It was very basic, I would say, before COVID. Lots of pictures, things like that. I feel like Reels didn't really take off until later. So I was doing that and then COVID happened. So everything was pretty much on hold. I wasn't working for them anymore. I was really just enjoying life. I started becoming an influencer, so I was getting a lot of brand deals. I worked with a lot of different brands, everything from tangible items like toys, clothing, food items, to going on full vacations, getting those paid for. So that was like a really cool part of my life. And then from there, in 2021, we moved into the house that we currently live in. And we're a couple doors down from a local neighborhood farm in Northwest Indiana. And they were like, "I heard you do social media." And I was like, "Well, I do social media, but not on like the business side of things. Like I do a lot of pitching and negotiating and things like that. But the content creation is obviously huge and that takes a lot of time for business owners to do." So they were like, "Well, we want you to be on our side." So I quickly began taking over their social media, and that kind of led into me taking over their events and running more events for them. And that was over 5 years ago at this point. So, going up to 5 years. That was in 2021. So, we're about to hit that 5-year mark with them. And since then, everything else has kind of just been falling into place. Word of mouth is really big for me. Client retention really helps with the word of mouth type of thing. So, going back to the connection, I know that social media is such a powerful tool and that it could be noisy and time consuming. So, my why to my business is for business owners to feel more seen, supported, and also make those connections with their target audience. Because essentially, I always tell people social media is another storefront of your business, and the customer service on there has to be just as good as it would be in person. So that is where Socially Good comes into play, and we help for all of it.
Yeah, I don't think I knew I knew you were an influencer for a while, and I know how many followers you have. You have a pretty big following, and I don't think I realized that you had just started in like 2020, 2021. So like you grew pretty fast then.
I did go pretty fast. There were like follow chains and stuff that were legal back then that I participated in, and I actually even ran. Me and this one girl, Brittany, we met together and we were like, "Oh, let's do this. If it's $75, that'll help pay for our kids' gymnastics lessons or whatever." And then here I am today, 5 years later, with the full business that is literally providing for me more than my 9 to 5 did and giving me the freedom that I have always wanted. I don't have to listen to anybody else. So it is crazy that just this one little story and me putting myself out there has really led to where I am today.
When was the shift? And I think it's been like what I've witnessed has been over the last year where the social media management business has really taken off more so than the influencing. And, me and you have had conversations over like if you do want to do more influencing or not, but like when did that start to shift for you of like, no, like, you got the farm, you had a couple other local clients, but like when did you start to shift more into social media management then?
So I would definitely say within the last year to 2 years, all of my clients that I currently have, I have a roster of 10 clients. I've had all of them for over a year now. So managing 10 social media platforms for my clients is obviously very time consuming. And then having to throw in the mix of managing my own and trying to land brand partnerships and all of that stuff as well. I can't mentally or physically keep up. So I would personally have to hire a social media manager for my influencing stuff if I wanted to continue to do that, which I do. I do keep my page, well, kind of. The past month, I would say I have not kept it active, but I try to keep up with it just in case if I want to work with someone local, because I do feel like that ties into my brand of Socially Good because we only work with local small businesses. If a local small businesses need help promoting a event or a new service or something like that, like I would be full into helping them promote that because I do have the following, I have the engagement and stuff on my page, and then it ties into my business brand, but my business does come first just because it's business.
Do you feel like you still like influencing?
Um, hmm, I don't know. I It's not that I don't like it, but I don't know if it's for me anymore. Like, I feel like the stage of my life that I'm in, I don't wanna say I'm past that because I feel like when I say I'm past it, it makes it seem like I'm better than that.
Mhm.
But honestly, influencing gave me so many opportunities that I would never, ever get otherwise. It gave me opportunities to attend things. It gave me opportunities to provide to my family during tough times. Like during COVID, influencing was a huge thing because everyone was shopping online. So that time for me was great. Like I was still being able to provide on top of everything else. And so I'm forever grateful for that and the opportunities that not only did it give me, but it gave my family as well. Because I was able to go from being a full-time 9 to 5 worker going down to part-time while I was just influencing, and I wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise.
Yeah, and I think, like, to your point and, like, the story you just shared, like, you would not have this business if it wasn't for influencing and getting involved in this way.
Yes, and I think sometimes influencing is frowned upon, um,
Mhm.
but especially going from like, "Oh, she was just an influencer, like, she doesn't have a background in marketing or all of that." But what you have to learn while you're influencing, you have to learn the algorithm, like, these people are literally paying for you to go on vacation or whatever it is, like, they want you to be successful for their brands, and that's how people potentially are getting their income. So you have to learn the algorithms. You have to learn what's trending. You have to learn content creation. You have to learn to talk to people because you're constantly negotiating and working things out and trying to get your paid invoices and things like that. So I lost my train of thought here, but I forgot what your question was. But all of that stuff did lead me to where I am today. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with going from an influencer to going into social media management because essentially they do go hand in hand. Yes, it is different, but the skills that you learn along the way are beneficial.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree too because I think, like, again, with your point with influencing back in 2020, 2021, there was a lot of conversation around the fact of like, "Ooh, you're an influencer, like you just get free stuff and like that's it." And that's like the ignorant thing to say. And I think that if you have even an ounce of knowledge of how social media works, how marketing works nowadays, like that conversation is so outdated. And I feel like even the best celebrities now who make millions upon billions of dollars are influencing. They have their own products, they have their own brands. And that's just the way of the world now. Like everyone has a side hustle or everyone has multiple streams of income. And a lot of times that's affiliate income, that's brand opportunities, that's influencing at some point. UGC, like that's huge still. And I think like that, like, I feel like at one point, there was a huge, like, peak to it. I think it has come down a little bit, but now I think it's just going to be a steady hum for the rest of time. Like, now we'll see maybe some changes with AI, but we're never going to see UGC or influencing going away. Like, when we think back to before Instagram or, Facebook were even things like, why do we think when celebrities walk the red carpet, why do we think we ask them what they are wearing? That's advertising. "Oh, I'm wearing Donna Karan," or "I'm wearing, Balmain," or whatever it is, but they're shouting out these brands. These people want them to wear their outfits. So, and again, I think, like, now we hear that you can specialize, like, you can go to college and you can learn you have classes where you can get degrees in this kind of marketing, social media. When we were coming up, and I know I'm older than you, but with like for me, Facebook, you had to have a college email to join. And I wasn't able to join Facebook for a couple years because I didn't have my college email
I
still in
did
high
not
school.
know that. That must
You
have been
didn't,
during my MySpace time because I did not know that you had to have a college email.
that was original Facebook for a long time before everyone and their mothers literally could join Facebook. You had to be a certain age requirement and you had to have a college registered email address. So I like waited to get I went to Purdue Cal, which is Purdue Northwest now, but I got a letter in the mail with like, you just had that was like the most exciting thing of my summer is you got your email. And that was what I did. I immediately signed up for Facebook. And so for the longest time, Facebook was actually pretty cool because like you literally only had like your high school friends people you graduated.
Kind of like a LinkedIn. If you had to have a college email, was it, like, to connect you in, like, a professional type of way?
It was definitely not professional. It
No.
was, I don't know if you remember, maybe have seen memes, but it was like just like status updates. It would be like Lauren is, and then you could say sad. And like that was like your status on Facebook. Like you weren't writing posts. And then like the other thing is like you could upload pictures, but that's all you did. Like there wasn't like events. It was like so archaic. If like you go back and like maybe look at screenshots, you got to there was commenting, there was liking, oh, there was poking. So you got to
Oh,
poke
yes.
everybody.
Actually, poking is back. I got poked not too long ago, and I was like, "What is going on? Why is this a thing right now?"
Yeah, poking. So like I feel like that was a form of flirting, like
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, poking me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
But then you got to connect with, like, people you went to college with, and I don't know how many years it was before then, like, high school could join and then, like, parents could join or, like, older people could join. Yeah, I think it was, like, a few years, but there wasn't much to do, but it was very exciting. So, I forget what we were talking about, though. Oh, that's what I was my tangent that I was going to say is, like, yes, you can go to college and, like, learn social media marketing, though, but, like, to your point, like, there's also nothing wrong with, like, if you wanna learn this as you go, like, how many people are successful CEOs or successful in, like, C-suite positions that did not go to college, that didn't go for their specialty, that end up being, like, amazing people at what they do because they just learned how to do it. Like, that happens all the time.
Actually, that reminds me, the other day when I was at your event and you were like, "Your whys," or whatever, your 5 whys. Well, that is always something that I doubt myself on, like, if I'm good enough to do this, I didn't go to school for this, like, I don't wanna say I'm learning on the fly, but essentially, like, yeah, I'm learning as things happen because social media, it's always changing by the day. Every week, there's different updates, and it's hard to keep up with. So I always wonder, like, am I good enough? But I have friends who have college degrees who still don't have a consistent job, I guess you can say. Like, they still don't really know what they're doing, and we're only 30, so I guess, yeah, that's okay, but it's like, okay, here I am, like, I'm hustling, I'm getting shit done, I know what I want, I know where I wanna go, and I know what I need to do to get there, and I'm able to provide for all of these different businesses, and I can go to sleep every single night being satisfied with what I'm doing in life. So, I tried to toss that out the door, but if that is one of the things that is always going through my mind, like, "Am I good enough to do this? Because I don't have a college degree," but really, it's just BS at the end of the day because yes. And actually, one of my clients who have someone in marketing who doesn't do their marketing, she's more of like an office person for them now, but the stuff that, like, she'll bring up and stuff is so outdated because she went to school for it years ago, so it's like, "Okay, well, that's not how we do things now." So it really is just, like, forever changing and keeping up with this stuff, and it's social media at the end of the day, and it's meant to be fun, and yes, it is a job, obviously, but at the end of the day, like, it's meant to be fun.
Mhm. Yeah, and I was just gonna back up that point too of, like, I feel like I have those thoughts too because I don't have a marketing degree. And essentially, what I do every single day is marketing and content. I have a finance degree, but I guess that has some sort of business
Yeah.
things. And sure, I had marketing classes, but like, I'm not doing anything with my finance degree. I feel like when push comes to shove, if I were to want, you know, to call myself a marketing strategist or like enter someone's business as like for their marketing team or if I want to like consider myself to apply, I don't know, to like different positions and stuff, like I can't show my resume of like, yeah, I have a marketing degree or like I always feel like that too. Like my resume is just going to be like I run my own social media and I've done this for clients. Like, but I guess like for us too though, like imagine if we were out of college applying for these businesses, like, and that actually matters.
Yes.
That matters. Portfolios matter now, and for us, I think we grew up in a time before social media was as it was now, that it's like we feel like it's still kind of like how people still talk about influencing, like it's not real, but we know it's real. We know it's
Right.
very legit. And like people who, however old they may be, might think that social media again is not a real way to grow your business. I actually have someone, I'm not going to give a lot of description to this, but there's somebody that I know who is around my age, a little bit older than me, doesn't believe in social media for their business
Okay.
and just wants to rely on Google Ads and SEO for their website, which important. SEO is important.
But it's all a channel of the funnel. And oh my God, I have a friend, a good friend of ours, and our kids are actually best friends. And it's a male, so he runs his own company. I won't go into what type of company or anything like that. But he's like, I don't need social media. I'm like, okay. And I actually run so I run a social media page that's in his industry, and it pops off. Like, we lean with funny trends, and it's so fun all the time. We shoot content, but he's never been into social media even personally. So trying to get him involved on his business is just like absolutely not. And obviously with Facebook business, you have to have a personal Facebook. So he's like very anti all of this, but he's like, I don't need it. I'm like, okay, you do. And then I have another really good friend, really close, but he's older. He's in his about maybe 50 years old. He's like, he owns a construction company. He's like, I don't need social media. Why would I need that? People know who I am. And I'm like, okay, but there's so many more reasons. Like, people may know who you are, but in order to stay on top of mind, and because think about it, if you own, let's just say, a luxury type of business. Yes, if you have social media and every time someone scrolls and they see I'll just use an outdoor lighting company, and they see your outdoor lights that cost $6,000, not every single person that scrolls is going to stop and call you and say, oh, I need these put on my house today or on my path today to get better lighting on my house. Like, you kind of have to be you have to be searching for that type of thing. But the thing is, it is a small world. And when you put yourself out there on social media and you're like, oh, these cost $6,000, people aren't going to do that. Okay, you're right. But when their sister who just moves into this house needs it or whatever it is for whatever type of business, they're going to be like, oh, I always see this company posting. How about you give them a call? Their reviews are really good. They post those. They show who they are. They've built that trust already. I think you should go with them type of thing. So no matter what your industry is or how successful you think your business is, which it might be very successful, which is great, but it is 2025 and social media is a storefront of your business. And I cannot stress that enough, because people our age are not going to your website. They're going to your social media channels and they are looking at who you are, what you can provide, what value it is, what it looks like if you're going to a restaurant, and the aesthetic of things. So it's like, no, you do need social media. You do. That's just the way that the world is evolving and will continue to evolve, because social media platforms are not going anywhere. If anything, they're just evolving and there's going to be more of them. So it's just more to keep up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree so much with that. I wanted to ask you about your clients though, because one of the things, if you do go and follow Brittany on social media, you are such a proponent of local business.
Yeah.
So what is it about like the local business? Because it's so easy, it could be so easy for you to be like, I'm a social media manager, I can do it all virtually. There's so many virtual agencies out there. Why local business for you?
So this kind of goes back to the connections. So I strive on connections, because just as social media is a powerful tool to build those connections, I also want to build that in real life. So for me, like, a lot of people, they will hire overseas. Like, I've had some businesses are like, oh, it's cheaper just to hire overseas. Let me do that instead. But I take the time and I will come into your office or whatever. We can meet up for coffee. We will sit down. I will learn your business. So something about Socially Good is I don't niche down to one type of industry. So some social media managers, they specialize in just med spas or just garden centers, whatever they specialize in. And that is not what I do. I specialize just in small businesses, which is a very broad term, I would say. But I have learned so much about so many different industries because I take the time to not only research and to learn those skills like online about like what those services are and what that means and things like that, but I do local because I can go to their office, I can meet them, I can connect with them face to face, I can hear what they're telling me, I can see what they're telling me, I can follow them to where they're going to install this or that, and I can see it for myself and building those connections that way. We've had so much fun doing this. Like one of my favorite clients is an HVAC company, and I, not even gonna lie, thought it was gonna be really boring because it's HVAC, and what are you possibly going to keep doing with that? But they're so fun. We lean into a lot of funny trends with them because, again, it's a high ticket item. So not everyone that is scrolling through social media is going to stop and call you to install an HVAC system because you do it once and you're good for 10 years as well. So we lean in a lot with the funny trends and just getting really involved within the community. And that has gotten them really far. So just making that connection face to face is something that I will always stand by. And I will die by that because I think it is huge and it's important to me. Like our strategy meetings are not over Zoom. I will come to your office. We can go to the local coffee shop, whatever, and we will sit down and we will talk all of this out.
I love that. I love that being like your specialty and like that's just like an aspect to become known for too. Like there are people who would be okay with just Zoom and Google
Yeah,
Meet and stuff and like but then there are people, especially like in this local community where we're not in a like a large city, we're in the suburbs. Like I've noticed now over the last year getting more involved locally, like people do want to be in person and meet you in person and, have phone calls and stuff, like not just email and social media.
absolutely. Actually, a lot of my clients, because in my little welcome packet, it says email is preferred just because it's an easy way to like keep communication available, I guess you can say.
Hmm.
But no, I give phone calls every day. I like to keep my business very casual. And I think
Mm.
that also is very important when I make those connections because I don't put myself out there as someone who's going to come to you in a dress and heels and be this luxury type of person. Like, no, I will come in my oversized shirt and my ripped jeans and my Vans and like I come as who I am and I want you to know me as much as I get to know you because it is important.
Mhm.
I'm running your store online, so I want you to feel that trust within me as well. I'm like most of my clients know who my children are, they've met my husband, so like that connection is very important to me.
So, what do you think has been the hardest lesson so far in growing this business?
The hardest lesson. Probably knowing my worth and knowing that, like, it is my business and I can say no. Being a social media manager, aside from it kind of actually goes into the whole connection thing. Like, I like to build those connections because I need you to trust me. If you don't trust me, this is never going to work. And I've had to fire a client over it, which was a very big learning curve for me because I don't like confrontation at all. So it was hard for me and like just saying no or this is what it is and it's this way because it can be this way. I hate to say like it's my rules, my way type of thing, but like essentially it is. It's my business. I know what I'm worth. I know what I'm capable of. And I'm a people pleaser, so really just getting past that hump of being able to say, this is what it is, this is what I can provide for you, and knowing my worth and knowing that I'm my own boss. I don't have to really listen to anybody else, which, yes, it is a mutual relationship, and I want it to stay that way. But if people don't trust me, like, I can walk away. And that was probably like the hardest part of all of
Yeah.
this.
I think it's hard because, we can say like as women, like sometimes like women are known as like natural caretakers, and then like being a mom like kind of turns that on as well. And then like then we go into like you care about what you do. Like you love what you do, you care about your clients, and like you want them to have really good results. So a lot of times, and this is something I know me and you have talked about, like we have bent over backwards for people. We have given them grace. We have let them go months without paying us. We have let them, we've waived late fees. We've like tried to post content for them when content hasn't been delivered to us. We've done more things outside of our scope.
Absolutely.
And I think like just as you continue your business, you get better and better at it. Like
Yeah,
I think like if anyone's listening to this, I think this right here, this part of the conversation is so important for anyone who's listening, because like it's don't like punish yourself or don't shame yourself into like caring, but also know that like you can't burn the candle from both ends. Like at the end of the day, you have to set those boundaries.
100%. And I actually had this conversation earlier with someone. At the end of the day, like, your success is my success. So if your social media is doing well, you're getting the reach, you're getting the leads from this, you're getting the website clicks, that ultimately is my success because that is what I can showcase and show those numbers to other people. And that is what keeps me going and keeps me in business, essentially. So that is super important to me. And keeping the clients happy on top of that, I don't nitpick different things like, I don't know, if I said 12 videos were included in my package, but I shot 15, well, they're going to get all 15. Because what am I going to do with those extra 3 videos? Throw them in the trash on my phone? Like those little things, I think, where you take that extra, not that it's really even extra, but you throw in those little extra things for your clients and it makes them feel like you appreciate them, but then you're also getting the same appreciation in return, if that makes sense.
Hmm. No, I totally agree with that. And again, like we want to go the extra mile, but like there's a partnership. And I think that's what's beautiful about like then that client getting results is like they are also active participants. And you can't just rely on someone you hire to like do all the work for you. Like obviously that, yeah, that like you need the content from your client. Like you need to create something. You can't just poof and oh, like here's some pictures.
I actually had this conversation with the client yesterday, and I've been doing their social media for maybe 4 years, but I don't do their content creation. They do it, and I constantly have to chase them down for it. It's much easier on both ends if I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming in this day for 2 hours. I'm gonna get enough content for a month." And then really, if you don't wanna hear from me and I don't need you, like, you don't have to hear from me for a month unless something is going on. Granted, I do weekly check-ins and everything, but if you don't respond, you don't respond type of thing. It's much easier hiring out to do it rather than relying on yourself because the content creation is probably the hardest part of it. So I forgot what you were just saying. We keep getting on these tangents, but it is such an important part. And I think people often underestimate it. We had this conversation yesterday, and he's like, I don't have time to be doing this. And I'm like, well, I know this is why most people pay me to come in and do this because I can come in for 2 hours and be done with it for a month. So it is important also to look at the bigger picture because sometimes you're like, oh, this will save me $200. But it's like, well, it's also costing you a lot of time and a lot of energy and you're not doing it. So then she's chasing me down and she's down my throat about it. So it's like, choose your battles here a little bit. But yes, anyways.
No, I love that. See, that's why I love like we chat. I think the first time we met up, we chatted for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. We
Yes,
just
it's a
like
long
kept talking. But I think that's like, that's what's so good about just having like the conversation. And like, I think this is just such a hot topic because everyone is associated with social media. So there's so many different parts and viewerships and things like that. The one thing I wanted to ask you though, and goes back to like you said something about like you're not specific to an industry, and you do work with some like boring on the
time.
surface industries,
Yeah.
lighting, HVAC. How do you stay creative? Because not only I feel like you have to be really creative in those industries, but you also help so many different businesses.
Really, like, staying on top of the trends, I would say one of my strong points is I could take a trend from any niche of what's trending, and I can flip it into how I can use this for HVAC or insurance. But I also do want to say, kind of going off of what we were just talking about, it is a two-way street. Like, yes, I still need you present to create this content. And if you're not going to participate, it makes it a lot harder. And you're probably not going to see those numbers because what I'm putting into place is for a reason and it's in your strategy for a reason. So if you're not going to participate, then it might not always work, if that makes sense. So yes, I would say my strong point is being able to take any trend, like my HVAC company. I'll use them as an example. HVAC is pretty boring, but they are willing, which is amazing. I can get them to dance on the back of their truck. I can get them to do talkovers. I can get them to literally do whatever I want them to do. And they do so well on both. So they're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I would say they do well on every single platform. It's just really taking that funny type of content, incorporating that into our strategy. Like, that one, or not strategy, the one reel that is that cheerleader where you clap your hands and it's like, we've got spirit. Okay, so I got the HVAC company to do this. And most people are like, what the hell does that have to do with HVAC? But they're very involved within the community and they put themselves out there to their community that they want to come and they want to support. And if they can sponsor that type of thing, they'll do that. So I was able to take that trend and we got spirit for our town. If you're local, like we would love just to support you. So I'm really good at taking those type of trends and flipping it into a way that every industry can use it and run with it, as long as they're willing to do so.
I think hopefully you are proud of yourself with that because you also said earlier, like, yes, I think it is common where people can niche down into, well, I only help wellness service providers or I only help doctors or in the automotive industry or, salons or something like that. And I think like maybe that's just how their brain works and that's the industry they want to focus on. But like, and then there's people like, well, I help coaches or I help service providers or I help beauty people. And like, again, that's still a niche and you're kind of still in the same sandbox. But like for you to go from like all of these crazy companies, but then you also have like feminine companies. Like we think of like insurance, we think of HVAC and the lighting and all that things.
I have a farm. Like I have literally people everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah. So like I hope you know how rare that is because it is and that is unique to you. Like yes, we can see all the creativity all social media managers do, but like that is your specialty where you can take it like I could never do that. Like I'm definitely not creative in that way where I can't just like take a trend, I see that, I can apply that to me, what I would say, but like someone like an HVAC, it's like what? Because I think also too, you have to kind of understand each industry and
Yes,
their business
it's
and
a
what they
lot of
do.
understanding, and that kind of again, it goes back to that connection thing. So
Mhm.
because I'm local, I can go with them and I can follow them to a job and I can see what they're doing. I can be in their office and see how they act and things like that. So then it is very helpful then to be able to be like, okay, this is how they act. Or like I said, they're super involved in their community and I know that, I see that. So then I could take that and I could flip that onto there.
Mhm.
Because at first when I saw that, I was like, yeah, there's no way. But then when I got my creative juices flowing, I was like, okay, no, this is definitely possible. Because at first I was just honestly gonna prank the owner and just try to get him to do it. But I was like, no, we can use this. Like we could definitely use this. It'd be fun. And it did very well. So I would definitely say that's my strong point.
The last question I have for you, and your business is called Socially Good.
Yes.
On the surface, we can just say, well, obviously it's called Socially Good. It's social media and your last name's Good. But do you have you thought of what else that represents or what that means?
Yes. So to me, being social is fun. It's inviting. It's warm. It's a whole I don't know, it's fun, like, it's a vibe, I guess you can say. Like, if I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out," I'm expecting to be social, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to talk to people. So, it all kind of just falls under not only the social media where I got the word social, but it all falls under that umbrella. Like, if I wanna meet my client for coffee and be social, like, it all just I want all of that to connect.
Yeah. I think that just goes to like, some things that I've always said to my clients, like, when I say like online community, for instance, I think everyone thinks that you need to create like a Facebook group or have some sort of like actual community, but you can create a community through your business and like have that vibe, right? And so when someone comes across your social media account, and again, if you're not familiar with her branding, you just rebranded not too long ago. It is fun, it is bright, it's friendly, it's inviting, I think. And so that's the biggest thing is like you don't have to necessarily have everyone congregated in an online container. It can be like your following is your community or like your email list is your
Yep,
community, but you can have just like your community of people and the brand represents that. So I love that.
absolutely. And my goal with that was to I want people to see me post something and be like, "Oh, Brittany posted that," without even knowing that it was me or Socially Good. Like, I just want that vibe of everything. Like, with the
Mhm.
way that I talk, with my colors, with my logo, all of it, I want it to be fun and inviting and comfy because essentially, like, you have to be comfy meeting with me and talking to me and doing these crazy videos with whatever I come up with and stuff. And if you're not, like I said, it might not work.
Where do you want people to connect with you?
Instagram. I'm always on my Insta.
So your Instagram's I'm socially good.
Yes.
It'll be everything, as they say, everything will be in the show notes, guys. So I'm socially good will be linked in the show notes. Connect with Brittany there. And you do have another kind of like side quest business where you partnered with somebody called the
I
Brand
do.
Bank.
The brand bank is a new like collective, I guess you can say, of the socially good brand. So me and my friend Amy, we host it once a month for local small businesses. It is a 30-minute session where businesses either come to us or we go to them and we have professional photography. I shoot a ton of B-roll and not B-roll of just behind the scenes of Amy getting photos and stuff. Like I will be like, "Oh, I need you to do this. I need you to do that." So then you could take all of this content that we are providing for you, this bank of content, and you could then transfer it over to your social media because along with the photos and the B-roll that you get, I also provide an Instagram bio audit, which goes through your whole bio, including your top 3 pinned posts if you have those. And then it gives you 15 social media prompts for the month. So, for instance, yesterday I was at a downtown Velpo business and we opened up their like garage door to their business. And I was like, this is going to be great. Put on here POV. It's a nice day outside and you need a drink in downtown Velpo or something like that. So, like, I give you all of the content and then it saves you so much time because then you could just plug and play type of thing. So, we are doing that. I'm super excited. We have worked with quite a few. We've been very busy kids brands, big businesses from insurance to Pilates to grazing boards, all of the above, hair salons. And it's been a lot of fun because, again, I'm really big on the connections. And it's actually how we started the brand bank because I was just like, oh, I'm going to just show up, Amy, and I'm going to literally just show up and make these connections with people. And then she was like, oh, well, we're going to do this instead. And we're just going to make a business out of it. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then here we are. It's been going great. We actually have our launch party next Friday at Pretty Little Parties in Valpo. So I don't know when this is airing, if it's before then
It'll
or not.
be long over and done with.
Well, yeah.
But that's to come. There will be probably more parties and you can have an anniversary party and
Yeah.
all the things.
All the things. We like to have a good time. So,
Mhm. Well, thank you so much
yes.
for this conversation. I appreciate you. And like I said at the beginning, Brittany will be back this Friday with a Business Chaser episode talking about content, social media. So I know most of you want to hear about that. So make sure you tune in on Friday. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Thank you for having me, Lauren.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Business Over Cocktails. where real stories and bold business moves come to life. If this episode lit something up in you, share it with a friend, tag me at Lauren Najar or the podcast page at Business Over Cocktails. Make sure to leave a quick review as well. It helps more than you know. Until next time, keep chasing what matters and building the business that feels like you. Cheers!